Hello, this is Robert Beaumagat, and this is my presentation for professional teaching standards. First and foremost, we're going to talk about what InTask standards are. This actually stands for Interstate Teacher Assessment and Support Consortium. Um, this is basically a resource for ongoing teachers' development established by the Council of Chief State School Officers. Next, we're going to talk about SPA standards, and these basically, this stands for Specialized Professional Associations, and these are standards of the NELP and the ELCC, and these are designed to help practitioners improve their programs and services. The main uh, stakeholder groups that are responsible for reviewing and approval programs are the providers of education, the accreditation bodies, and the higher education community. The two major groups we'll be talking about, essentially the most, would be the Interstate Teacher Assessment and Support Consortium, obviously InTask, and Physical Education Teacher Education, which is PEAT. InTask standards essentially has 10 standards, um, and PEAT will have 6 standards. We are going to be talking about 3 common themes between InTask and PEAT. Uh, the first one we'll be talking about is content knowledge. Um, This basically means that the instructor basically understands the subject matter of the discipline they're teaching pertaining to a particular subject. In my case, I want to teach physical education. Physical education teachers should have the necessary knowledge about nutrition and sports for all ages. Instructors should also have good communication skills and a background in sports. Most teachers are certified and have a 4-year degree in exercise science. No content knowledge means means students will lack motivation to want to participate pretty much. The next one is that we will be talking about is the learning environment. This quote here, create environments that support individual and collaborative learning and that encourage positive social interaction, active engagement in learning, and self-motivation. For the first one, instructors should always deliver, for InTask, obviously, instructors should always deliver instructions that are adaptable for all and allows for students to feel comfortable in their learning environments. They should also deliver and aid students to their individual needs. Instructors should also believe that all students are able to learn and be successful at a high level in any concept in whatever they are teaching. The teacher understands that the relationship between motivation and engagement and knows how to design learning experiences using strategies that build learner self-direction and ownership of learning. The instructor should also and lastly, the instructors must always create a positive learning environment for all students so that they are better. As far as PEAT in comparison, physical education candidates engage students in meaningful learning experiences through effective use of peda- pedagogy, pedagogical skills. I apologize for that. They use communication, feedback, technology, and instructional managerial skills to enhance student learning. Lastly, teachers should implement effective demonstrations, explanations, and instructional cues and prompts to link physical activity concepts to appropriate learning experiences. Next, through InTask, well, we'll start with the quote. Um, Plans instruction and supports every student in meeting rigorous learning goals by drawing upon knowledge of content areas, curriculum, cross-disciplinary skills, and pedagogy. pedagogy. I apologize for not being able to pronounce that. Um, for InTask, obviously, through collective efforts of instructors, learning experiences are designed to meet the needs of students and are relevant to their styles. They are also organized according to the content standards that are part of the curriculum. As far as PETE, in comparison, as physical education teachers, candidates are responsible for developing and implementing effective learning experiences that are aligned with the national and local standards. The goal of this program is to develop and implement appropriate goals and objectives that are aligned with the national, state, and local standards. For starters, professional collaboration, accountability is our first one. Teachers should take accountability for the success in your classroom. It is your responsibility to make sure that your students are learning the concepts you are teaching, regardless of the performance levels they are showing. It is critical to help all students succeed to their highest potential. It is also important to be open to answering any questions students have and understand and empathize the idea that there are never any dumb questions. Next, we will talk about connections and community resource. Teachers must be able to collaborate not only with families, students, and colleagues, but also the community. It is important to make a good impression and promote positivity within the community because teachers can use community resources as connections in order to better assist students in learning. In my case, as a physical education teacher, I can get access to um, activity tools such as like hula hoops, dodgeballs, any other activity tools that we could use in physical education. Next, we'll talk about mutual expectations. Teachers should have a positive expectations and set outcomes, goals, etc., for students to succeed. For example, as a PE teacher, if a student makes a certain mile time, set a goal for them to beat that mile time for the next one. By setting small goals, allow students to strive and improve in whatever they want to succeed in. Next, we'll talk about family, students, and colleagues. Teachers should collaborate with students, families, and colleagues in order to ensure success in whatever classes they are taking. It's important to monitor each student's progress, especially while communicating with their families. The two sides can work together and build a relationship and create an optimal learning environment from both home and school. Next, we're going to talk about data-driven instruction decision-making. The concept of data-driven instruction refers to a set of practices that focuses on assessing student learning and adjusting instruction based on the assessment data. These practices are basically designed to help teachers and students make informed decisions regarding their assessments. There are various components that are needed to implement a successful data system, although there is evidence to show that each component of the data system is effective. It is important to note that these components can be implemented together to achieve the best results. For starters, we're going to talk about understanding standards. Understanding what is going to be expected of you as a teacher and its standards from the state. That is the first part, important part, basically. It is also important that you understand the common core standards for what you are teaching to your class. Next, we're going to talk about set learning goals. Teachers should always understand how to set learning goals and outcomes to reach the standard required for you and students. Last, we're referring to implement assessments. For example, as a PE teacher, my assessments can be testing students on beating their previous mile times, push-ups, or sit-ups. The data from these assessments can be determined whether or not learning goals and outcomes are being met and allows students to be well more adapted to their environment. Some ways on how to improve practice for teachers and their students is to provide assessments and feedback. A quote from Kluger and Denisi in 1996: "Learning is more likely to be fostered when feedback focuses on features of the task, success criteria, and emphasizes learning goals." Some expectations for the profession, starting with accountability. Teachers should take accountability for their responsibilities. Be sure to promote a positive learning environment for all your students. Next, knowledge to implement quality learning environment for students with varying individual differences. It is critical to have the skills and knowledge to teach every student and their individual differences. We must incorporate content that allows for all students to participate and learn. Next, understanding potential biases. As humans, we often have our biases, but it is important to eliminate those potential biases in your classroom. Lastly, promote physical health and thinking skills. We must promote physical health in every way possible. We should also implement games and activities that allow students to think critically and improve